The Drop with Frank and Brian is officially brought to you by Switch Suspension. Switch Suspension specializes in all vehicle chassis components. Lift kits, lowering kits, air ride suspension, wheels, tires, steering, and brake upgrades. They use all the best products from the best brands. And these guys are truck guys. You roll into their parking lot at the shop and they all drive custom vehicles. So they use their products that they sell on their own vehicles. So if you guys are looking for anything for your vehicles, whether you're just starting out or you just need some replacement parts or whatever, give them a call or visit their website, switchsuspension.com. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Well, a lot of stuff and not a lot of stuff, if that makes any sense.
Same here.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's just been busy around here working on the softball stuff. We started our tournament last weekend and kind of getting through that right now. So it's going okay, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had our first games on Saturday, and the way that this tournament bracket works out is you can lose up to 2 games. So if you lose a game, then you go drop down into the losers bracket, which is a very loaded term, I suppose, but it's technically true. So we dropped to the losers bracket our first game, and so
do you get eliminated if you lose one more?
Yes. But
okay.
So we played our first game on Saturday, lost. Played our second game yesterday and won. And so we're moving forward. And so we'll see what happens tonight. We have a game tonight at 7:45.
Are you kind of like half? You're like half and half. You're like, okay, just lose so we can be done with this.
No.
Yes. Don't lie.
No.
Don't lie. It's like when you're at the car show. You're like, man, I'm having so much fun, but can it be Sunday yet?
No, I want to win. So last year's, because this is our second year being in the All-Star tournament.
Yeah.
And last year was interesting because we just so our local district, we just ran through the competition. I think we didn't lose any games. We were undefeated in that one. This year, the competition is a lot tougher. And with I could wax on for a while, but basically my kid is either young enough to be in the lower one or old enough to be in the upper one.
And is it just as the older kids are just better? Is that what it is?
Well, so it's actually really interesting. It's a really interesting kind of take on, because how it applies to what we talk about here is we talk about car culture, we talk about car clubs, we talk about people building things and all of the attitudes and personalities that come with that. And in some instances, some of the things that happen within it, people maybe not taking advantage of the system necessarily, but definitely finding ways to compete at a higher level. Yeah. So basically what happens is your child enters the league at a certain age. Okay. So, and they're divided by ages. So you have your 10U, your 12U, so on and so forth. I think all the way up to 18. You can play in little league until you're 18 years old. So depending on when you enter the year, depending on your age, that's the league you're going to be in. So if you are 11 years old, you're going to play in the 12 and under. If you're 9 years old, then you're going to play in 10 and under. But here's the little caveat, the little gray area. If you enter the division my kid is playing in right now, which is 12U, if you enter that division in the beginning of the season as a 12-year-old, but your 13th birthday is the next week or the next month, you can still compete in that division. Yeah. So now I'm setting the table. You can see where things are taken advantage of. You know what I mean? And so the thing about last year was my kid was an older kid on a younger team, and now she's a younger kid playing against older teams. My kid is 10. Well, see, and here's the thing. She's 10, but she's going to turn 11, in August. But when she entered the season back in the beginning of spring, she was definitely 10 years old. Well, some of these kids are now 13 years old, and they're big kids. They're big kids, and they're much more capable and more athletic, just because they're older and more able.
Yeah.
And so, we entered this whole thing as an opportunity because, like, you can choose as a parent. You can choose. You're like, hey, if you want to, and that's what happened. Like, there's kids moving all around. Like, we got a bunch of kids from the upper divisions came into our all-star division, and we could have done the same thing. We could have sent our kid down and complete, and like our younger minors team. So there's minors and majors. Our minors team again just kind of went through the competition pretty easily. So we could have sent her down and completely dominated. But
yeah,
and what challenge does that lie? At least in this one, it's competitive. She's up against other really good athletes, and maybe she'll take something away from it. Or maybe she'll take nothing away from it. I don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see. Mm-hmm. Are your kids going to be losers or winners?
I know, right? That's the trope, right? That's the trope about like parents and sports and stuff, So
I'm not a parent, but from the outside looking in,
yeah.
It's amazing that the competitiveness is not just the children, but the parents as well.
Dude, it's
like even when you talk about it, you're like, I, and I'm like, it's the kids.
Yeah, it's the kids.
Yeah.
But then again, we talk about the same way, like when we're talking about professional teams too. We say we, I,
That's totally different.
I mean, just
professional teams are on a whole other.
I understand. I'm just like,
I know, like, but when it comes to professional teams, it's another thing that cracks me up because people invest so much into it, and it has literally nothing to do with them.
I know. It and it's easy. I am very guilty of it.
Yeah. I mean, same here. Yeah. I'm a fan of the Chicago Cubs. I've been to Chicago once.
Right.
I should be a fan of the Dodgers or the Angels, or now the Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
because
the Diamondbacks. You should be a fan of the Diamondbacks right now.
Yeah, they're doing really good.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm glad I bought tickets at the beginning of the season for the Cubs games.
Oh, yeah.
And I got really good seats, right above the Cubs dugout. So
nice.
Yeah, so I'm like, because when good traveling teams come into town, like when the Yankees came, it's higher. So when the Cubs come into town, they charge Cubs prices.
Right.
Now they're charging Arizona first place ticket prices and Cubs prices. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, it's crazy. But ultimately, you know what? I have a lot of fun doing what we do. I mean,
that's all that matters.
And I try to, as much as there are there are parents out there who are very extreme, but as much as I am into it, I realize that it's all up to my kid. She could be like, at the end of the season, she's like, you know what? I don't want to do any of this stuff. And then you just go,
like, well,
okay.
You're like, well, can I still print some t-shirts or what?
Right. I'm just hanging around the fields and no kid. Hey, who needs shirts?
No, it just got really weird. You're in a van with t-shirts. You're like, hey, you guys want to buy t-shirts?
Hey, it's all. Anybody want t-shirts?
It's you and Angie with the print machine in there,
right? Oh man, that's funny. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I've been very I guess shy to talk about it here on the podcast, just because again this is a truck, custom.
Yeah,
car
but
podcast.
Dude, how many parents are out there totally relating to this? More will relate to this than anything else.
That's true. Yeah. And to relate it to this in another way, it's just again there are plenty of people in our scene who try to balance the two. We've talked about that a lot lately, about getting older and kind of growing old with everybody. Yeah. And that's that's a real thing. Like everybody now has, not everybody, but there's a majority of people who have. Anyway, there are people who have kids, and they're struggling too. They're struggling how to balance their custom car truck life and their family life and their work life and everything in between.
Yep.
So just hang in there, everybody. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, you'll be all right. And if you can't make it to shows because of it, don't worry about it.
That's a huge thing. Is don't worry about it. And then other people don't fault people for it too. You know what I mean? Like if we've discussed that before, like being in clubs and being in points in our life where, the truck club is the most important thing in the world. Yeah. Yeah. And then when I was young in the truck scene in my first club, there were older cats in there and they had kids, and I'm guilty of that too. Be like, oh yeah, like, well, my kid's got a game. I'm like, so, let's go to the show.
They'll have another game.
Exactly. Yeah. But
yeah.
And you realize it's all very important, and going to these things is very important. So But yeah, that's been my life. It's weird, man. Like I've said this in the last podcast. Like I felt like this month has been going like forever. It's weird.
Like it's been June for a couple of months now.
Yeah, it's been weird, man. And I think it's just because we've been so involved, every day with softball and printing for that and doing stuff. So I don't know. It's weird. Like I feel like we've been talking about this Kenwood head unit giveaway, which is over now. Which is over.
So congratulations to the winner.
Yeah, congrats to them. I feel
You've been
like
so busy that you didn't even make teasers for the last episode.
I'm gonna make one today.
All right.
Which is Tuesday. It's only Tuesday. We're actually filming this really early this week.
Yeah, I know we are.
So I was gonna make one today.
I'm out of here again on Thursday. So
yeah. So what's going on with that? How was your last weekend?
it was so much fun.
Oh yeah, awesome.
It was so much fun.
Cool.
It was like, this is all a funny story. Not a funny story, but a funny story. Though you remember when you saw Chelsea at the beach?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Friday, Chelsea was in the emergency room
Oh no.
because of her sunburn.
No way.
Yeah.
You
so
said that she was pretty
she
lobstery.
she always gets pretty burned, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, but usually I'm there and I'm like, put this sunscreen on. Well, I wasn't there this time, so of course she's Anyways, so she gets home she got home that Wednesday. She was hurting from the drive home. She laid down. Thursday, she called out sick from work. She laid down all day. And then I left Thursday morning, so I'm gone Thursday. Friday morning, she's like, hey, we're going to the urgent care. She called my mom, and she came and picked her up. So, Friday, I'm in Salt Lake City, and she's here. She goes to one urgent care. It's closed. She goes to another urgent care. They're closing, so they can't see her. She goes to another urgent care, and they're like, you need to go to the emergency room right now.
Wow.
They're like, we don't know if this is like if it's infected or if it's a blood clot or anything. Yeah. So she goes to the ER. All this stuff. They put her off work for a week. They gave her medicine.
Wow.
Her leg was just swollen and she couldn't stand. She couldn't put her foot down. She had to keep her foot elevated. Like she said, she was in the kitchen cooking and her foot was on the counter while she was cooking. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
She just went back to work today.
Wow. So it was just severe, like a 3rd degree burn or something?
No, like it wasn't even that. It's like she barely even blistered. It was just like her leg was just swollen.
Whoa.
It was really weird. It was like she felt like it was like cooking from the inside.
Crazy. Wow.
Yeah. So she's here just like hobbling around, can't do anything. I'm in Salt Lake City.
Like, boo!
That sucks. I'm going to go ride these scooters.
I know. I saw that.
We rode those. So I've never ridden.
So awesome.
So first of all, C10 Nationals, Salt Lake City was the first year, and they did a really good job. So they had like 600 something in show. They had the racetrack going all day. And what's cool about that event is like you could just race your truck for free.
Oh, really?
So you could just pull up to the autocross if you've never done autocross and just do it, and it's free. Just sign a waiver.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you could dyno your truck for free. They don't charge for anything. And it was really cool. And the weather was nice, and there was snow-capped mountains all around us.
Yeah.
So we stayed. Our hotel was right in downtown Salt Lake, and the show was a mile from that.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it was all right there. And then, like I said, I've never ridden those scooters before.
Well, neither have I. What's that experience like? What?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We were just like, we were like, well, let's go get some ice cream. So we walked a while to get ice cream. And I was like, oh, we got to go to 7-Eleven. I need to get some sodas and some cough drops, which I have been living off of.
You're still kind of sick?
Yeah.
Damn.
Not sick, just like a lingering cough. Like I feel completely fine, but all my footage all weekend, Chupas is like, I could hear you coughing from the other side of the track.
Really?
Over the cars, yeah. So all my footage,
damn.
I'm like replaying all my footage, and you just see the truck go by, boom, and then me like,
jeez, my gosh.
But and then so we did that Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. We just rode those scooters all over the place.
That's really cool. I know. I saw you didn't post.
The last night we rode 2 miles, and my scooter died.
Oh, really?
And like the app will tell you like, oh, there's a scooter. It just shows you where they are. So we just walked across the street, got another one, and kept going.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw Chupas's like all of his Instagram things and him riding around. And
Yeah.
you didn't post anything, and I kind of wonder, like, is he by him? No, I didn't think he was by himself, so it was both of you guys.
No. Yeah, it was both
That's
of us.
cool.
I was always way ahead of him. He's like, slow down.
That's awesome, man. I've been to Salt Lake City one time. What was that building that you guys kept on taking photos in front of? Was that the Capitol?
That was the Capitol.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's up on this hill, so like no matter where you're at, kind of in the city, you can see it.
Oh, that's cool.
And you could just drive right up to it, park right there. They don't charge for parking right there, and everyone was just out on the grass hanging out. And
That's cool.
yeah, it was really nice. It was like yeah. And then Friday night, we did a cruise up to the mountains. So it's like 45 minutes away.
Like the participants in the show did?
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's like
cool.
they call it the Biggie Bash. So that guy Biggie from Kern County,
Oh, yeah.
C10s.
Yeah.
It was his birthday, so they called this thing. They call it the Biggie Bash, and if you wanted to go,
Oh, that's
it
cool.
was this cruise up this cool mountains. There's a waterfalls on each side of you. There's like a river. You get up to the ski resort, and they were cooking food,
That's awesome.
and there was a moose.
Oh, I saw that. I saw
Yeah.
that, and I was like, man, everybody was like filming it and taking photos
Yeah.
and like talking. I'm like, man, if that dude decides to just get rowdy, like,
Well, it was funny because you know Brian Duggar with the green Mazda. He was up there, and then a couple other mini truckers were up there. And shout out to everyone that like came up and talked about the podcast. And one guy
cool.
like drove by, and he's like, "Dwight sent me."
no way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It
So
was cool.
we've like infiltrated the C10 world.
It's all the same thing.
You're kind of
It's so funny
Yeah.
because John Oro, Mr. C10 himself.
Yes.
He comes up to me. He goes, "Man, I love listening to your guys." He goes,
awesome.
Frank was talking about the difference between the C10 guys and the mini truck guys. And he goes, if you take away everything like the mini truck C10, he goes, he was just explaining the mini truck guys as the C10 guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
it's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you had all the club guys down there, and then I don't know. It was funny. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
it was a good time. And then Thursday night we were at Kindigit.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. Daniel was up there with his C10.
Oh yeah.
Our
And he
buddy
rolled
Daniel.
up. That's cool.
Yep.
So that Kindigit had like a thing at his shop.
Yeah, they had an open house at their shop, which is right there in Salt Lake City.
Oh, cool.
So you could park in front of the shop, and they opened it up. They had food, and he was out there taking pictures with everybody, drinking beers with everybody. And
That's cool. I like events like that. You know, we were talking about like what makes events cool, and we never really explored that part of it. Is like
It's true.
when it starts like Dino's is the same way. You know, you got stuff going on at Tray 5. You have all of these events happening around town.
Yeah.
Like it's really cool when it becomes kind of beyond the borders of just this one show.
yeah, and he did a really good job on this one, and just the locate like Texas. You know, I went to their Texas event, and that was a little different because it was at a speedway. It wasn't in downtown. Like this was literally like downtown. And you could fly into the airport, take the train to the hotel, and then the train drives right by the show.
Oh, cool.
So like it was really cool.
Oh,
Like,
so you just
that-
park your truck and like you don't even need like Uber or
You could Uber to the hotel. You
Yeah.
could drive to the hotel. Like you could do whatever. Like it's just a really good proximity of everything.
Right. And that's what
Yeah.
we were talking about planning shows and like utilizing, I said before, like when a show not only promotes itself, but it promotes
Yeah.
like the city and town and location it's in, you know, and that's really
yeah,
good.
Yeah, remember I was talking about the Stay Loaded show being in Reno, and like that Reno's not very far from Salt Lake City. So like that is an untapped market when it comes to like
Yeah.
truck shows, because they were pulling guys from Canada.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Canada, Montana, Idaho, like these big markets that don't get big events. Because when you think of big, especially C10 shows, you think of like Texas,
Yeah.
the South, Southern California, Arizona, but you never think of like, oh, Salt Lake City. So
Yeah.
he kind of tapped into an untapped market, and yeah, it was really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's
So on Saturday, it was funny because I was like, oh, we should take, because there's one in Nashville in September. And I was like, we should fly Frank out. I was like, there's no way. I was like, imagine all three of us on these scooters. I was like, and then,
yeah.
so we just kept on talking about like if Frank was here. I was like, we wouldn't get any work done. We would just be
Just ride
messing around
scooters
the
all
whole
day.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
I was like, And then I was like, oh, his camera doesn't shoot 4K. So I called him 1080p Frank. We'd have to rent him another camera. We were just fun. We had this whole thing about you coming with us and how fun it would be.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I was there in spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
that's the thing is like, I don't know what the next show for me is, to be honest with you. I don't know. I mean, way ahead, which doesn't seem too way ahead now. You know, is the Chubb show, you know, or Last Resort in October.
Or the cancer show.
I keep forgetting about the
You keep forgetting about the damn cancer show. It's down the street from your house. I know. Scraping the Rockies looked really good. Did you see?
Oh, I saw a lot of footage from that. That looked really good. I'm really happy for those guys too who put it on, because they put a lot of work into that, and they were out there promoting it. They were going to a lot of shows and like handing out flyers and telling people about it. But yeah, it looked really cool. There were people who rolled out our buddy Ben from Arizona with that like teal Toyota.
Oh, that's right. Oh yeah. Man, that dude drives that thing everywhere.
Dude, I didn't know that. Like, like forgive me, because it takes me a second to like kind of get to know people and know where they're from. So we saw him at Rolling in the Red Rocks, and then we saw him down at the Unfinished Business show, and then like it slowly started dawning on me like, oh, this dude is driving his truck from Arizona to all these things. Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, that is awesome. It's really cool. Just
makes us look all chumpy sometimes.
I know.
These guys do that,
dude. I thought about that exact thing. Here's this guy just gets in his truck and just mobs out to Colorado. And I'm like, I don't want to take my 4Runner to San Diego. No, I don't know.
Come on, you've done that.
No, I know. I've done that, and I've said before I'm gonna start doing that more. But anyway, the
end of 2023 is our time, and the beginning of 2024 is our time.
We're gonna
figure it out.
Hey, did you get anywhere with your videos?
I haven't done anything.
No. Oh, so we can't.
I got home. I got home.
Secret time.
I know. I got home Sunday morning, passed out. Chelsea was like, she's hobbling around. I was like, don't worry. I was like, don't worry, babe. I'm on my way home. I'll be there to take care of you. And I get home and I'm like passed out. She's making dinner. I'm like, that's my bad.
I feel bad.
Yeah. And then I had to wake up Monday at like 6 to go do a shoot. And then I had to wake up this morning to take my mom's car to the thing. And I haven't had time to do anything. I'm like opened up the reunion video and put a couple clips on the timeline on my laptop while I was sitting in the living room. And I'm like, man, I really need to edit this.
I know, man. We say this every single week. This is like our listeners are like,
I cannot wait until
make something July. Or don't make something. Quit talking about it.
Quit talking about it. Be about it. I cannot wait till the month of July.
Yeah,
because I am not going anywhere.
I know and we also need to plan out, because like I'm thinking little BTS here. Thinking, what about the second week?
That would be perfect, and I was going to talk to you about that in our post pod.
Yeah,
that would be perfect, because Chelsea's actually, her cousin's going to be visiting, so she's going to take some time off. And we talked about like if you come out and we do these couple of podcasts, and then we like go out to dinner and you know, something like that. So
yeah, I'm taking if it works out, because there's still one other thing holding up, but I'm heading up to NorCal this weekend to hang out with Holly.
Oh, you are going?
Yeah. It was some like figuring out some details and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's like, as of this moment, Tuesday morning, it's like 95% we're going. So it's not
the whole
5%. I don't know.
Oh yeah. There's always that 5%.
There's always that 5%. But yeah, I'm stoked for that, man. I'm stoked to go see that. I haven't seen Holly in such a long time. I mean, we saw her at the show earlier this year, but like
hanging out.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I'm like, oh man, I miss that.
And Joey.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they always twins look like are rolling up there.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. That was sort of the thing. Is like there's a bunch of heads rolling up, so there was like some things to work out, you know. But so you got the twins and their families, me and my family, all rolling up to Clear Lake, California.
Dang.
Yeah, it's far up there.
It is far up there.
It's like 10 hours away.
Yeah, it's far.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I know. I'm stoked though, because I've never explored that part of the state.
Yeah, I've only been up there. I've only driven through there once with Bubba and Louie and those guys when we went to Oregon one year, because we stayed at Joey's house and we drove through Clear Lake up over the mountain to the 5 to get back on the 5 to go up north.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked about that. So I guess we'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So the only thing I have written in my notebook for this week is you are headed to Houston, Texas this weekend.
For the Classic Truck Showdown.
I got bad news for you. Have you heard about?
Yeah.
Dude, all I have for my notes is right here. It says episode 61, Houston weather this weekend. It's going to be so bad. I'm sorry, Lonnie.
Yeah, sorry. It's 100. It's going to be 100, 199. That's the last thing I saw. Mm-hmm. Luckily, it has calmed down a little bit because it was even worse. And it was worse more like in the San Antonio, Austin.
Oh, okay. Middle of the state.
Middle of the state. Yeah, and that's moved a little bit, which is fine because like I was just outside and it's 106 here. It was 112 yesterday.
Yes, but did you look at the humidity?
Yeah, but it's still like this time of year is not like when we usually go there in the February. Or
it's like more dry.
It's a little bit, not much, not
okay.
much. It's still going to be terrible.
Yeah,
but I am hopefully going to have a golf cart and I'm going to film a lot of the inside.
And you don't have a booth.
And there's not 2,000 vehicles going.
Oh, it's not. Well, it's not going to be as big as LST. Oh,
no,
I see.
It's not going to be as big as LST, especially the first year.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. This is their first one.
Yep, their first one, and I actually was talking to Lonnie on Sunday, and I'm just like, dude,
why? You said, Lonnie, why? In July.
It doesn't matter what time of year they throw a show there.
Oh,
because like if you look at the forecast right now, like it shows thunderstorms, and then the week following shows thunderstorms. So it's like,
dude, Texas,
that area, just Houston, Conroe, because you have the Gulf right there and stuff. Like, it's yeah.
Yeah, but I was thinking of like the thing that I thought about was at least you don't have to set up a booth, stand in the booth. You can like escape. You can get a bunch of work done and then I'm out.
And I have 3 days to do it. So yeah, it's funny because I packed with my the Buc-ee's soft cooler, soft ice chest. I packed that in my suitcase.
Oh, cool.
And then that goes underneath the back of the golf cart, so we constantly have like cold waters and stuff like that.
Is Chupas going with you to that one?
No, this is just me.
Okay.
Yeah. This one's not like, so those C10 Nationals, there's so many the things going on.
Oh, I see. You need it.
There's the autocross. There's so that video in Texas, I made them 22 videos from that event. You're saying. So like there's a lot going on. So this one is just the show. So I'm just going to be
Are you driving or flying?
Flying.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So this will be my 4th flight this month.
Yeah, man. You're just jet setting everywhere.
I know. I'm not looking forward to Sunday because I didn't want to stay till Monday, so I booked a connecting flight Sunday. So I leave the show, fly from Houston to Dallas, sit in Dallas, and then fly home. But I wanted to be home on Monday.
Yeah. So classic truck show, what qualifies as that? 98 and older?
Pre-98, any trucks. So Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Toyota, Nissan. So there'll be mini trucks there.
That's cool.
There'll be everything. So.
Is Matt going with his C10?
I don't know. I forgot to tell him I was going.
Oh, whoops. Sorry, he's all like, cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah. It was funny because we were talking, me and him. This is Matt, one of our Houston members who has a C10. And he was like, are you going to the C10 show in Texas? And I thought he meant C10s in the park.
Oh.
And I was like, no, I'm not. And he was actually talking about the C10 show that I went to in May. Mm-hmm. And so I went there and he goes, I thought you said you weren't going. And I was like, I thought you meant the other one.
He's all cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks, dude. It's cool. So I'm hoping I'm going to edit this podcast today, and then I'm going to have all day Wednesday tomorrow. I'm hoping to make a video tomorrow about the Nissan and get it up so we can talk about it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to dissecting that whole thing and talking about it and take away some of the secrecy.
Yeah, stupid secrecy.
Stupid secrecy.
But yeah, so that's
your weekend. This weekend, Houston Classic Truck Show.
Classic Truck Show. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to hanging out. I'm looking forward to being there and not having a booth.
Yeah, that's that's why I'm like kind of like hyper focused on, because that's really cool. Because like I like going to LST, I like hanging out there, but then you have the booth aspect of it, so it'd be really cool to just go there. And I mean, you're not just hanging out; you're creating and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, But it is a different, thing. Yeah. Like when you were in Salt Lake City, you were just riding scooters.
I know. We're clocked out. We're riding scooters.
Yeah. Some people are like, want to ride their motorcycle, which I'm like, nah, scooters.
Nah, it's all about the scooters. They were like that. You go to the after party. We're like, now we're riding scooters to Hot Chicken 2 miles away.
Oh, go back to that. Like, how was that? Because
amazing. Amazing.
That's another little sub thing about this podcast is hot chicken talk.
Yeah. So we went to the Crack Shack.
Yeah.
And it was really good.
Blew Jaybirds away.
Oh, yeah. Jaybirds ain't nothing. Jaybirds is like below Popeyes.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But Jaybirds was like above McDonald's, below Popeyes.
Okay. Yeah. I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, like Popeyes is like right there with like Wendy's has a pretty good one. Popeyes is like above Wendy's. And then you have your specialty ones. You know what I mean? Like this one. But yeah, Crack Shack, Salt Lake City, bomb.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then, you know what we did really good on food on this trip.
Mm-hmm.
The first night we went to a place called Loco Burger. And it was just this little place. No one was in there. And they like melted mozzarella cheese on the flat top and put it on there.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Real thin French fries. And it's like half Mexican, half American. And that was really good.
That's
and then
cool.
Crack Shack, went to some pizza place.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really like, it's always good when you do good food stuff when you're on these trips, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And you're so concentrated on your eating habits and stuff. So it's sort of like, you know, it's like you get an extra kind of like thing out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm still like kind of counting the calories when I'm at those things because a lot of them will list their calories and I'm only eating like a big meal once a day, but it's like a treat. And if you mess that treat up, you can't just like, you have to wait until the next time.
Yeah. And,
you know?
and Jaybirds was sort of that. You're like, no,
I remember how hyped I was?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Now the satisfaction just was with this one.
Yeah. That's cool.
Because I always do that. I'm like, man, I want a really good chicken sandwich. And if I don't get a good one, it's not that craving is not done until you get that good one.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. Well, that's
and
cool.
then also there's a weird thing in Salt Lake City, and I don't know how far this spreads out, but fry sauce. So
I've heard of that. Yeah. Which is just essentially ketchup and mayonnaise mixed together, isn't it?
yeah, basically, but like it's a thing everywhere we went. Fry sauce. Little packets of fry sauce, and I'm like, huh, I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah, I have heard of that, but I didn't know it was like local to like Salt Lake City. Is it a Salt Lake City thing, or is it just like maybe
It's the only place I've ever seen
North Midwestern thing? I don't know.
It's the only place I've ever seen it. So
Interesting.
yeah,
That's good. Cool. All right.
yeah.
Right on. So
what
that's
is
this week's episode? No, I was kidding.
all right? And food, softball, and C10s.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you get.
No, yeah, I'm stoked for this weekend because it's not all C10s. There'll be a variety of stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
And then what is that? There's nothing really after that.
There is. Well, aren't you coming out for Slow Down?
Yeah, that's in August.
Well, yeah, end of July. Oh no, is August. Yeah, August.
First weekend of August.
First weekend of August. Yeah, so yeah, July. You're just chilling, huh? Well, not chilling, but you're just gonna be.
I'm gonna be editing.
Yeah.
These two events. I'm gonna be editing. I want to get like the reunion out of the way. I want to get mini nats out of the way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
LST.
That's you.
I know. You know what I should probably do? I should probably just start something else, maybe.
No, you should probably just
finish it.
Go on Amazon and get $100 external monitor and start editing while you're watching your YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Start feeling guilty when you're in your office and you're not editing.
Maybe that's what I should do. Is just
because if I'm ever in my office and if I'm not editing, I feel like I'm wasting time.
Yeah. That's
I don't take it as like a relaxing mode. I take it like if I don't have Premiere open, I'm wasting time.
Maybe that's your approach I should start taking.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
You don't have to like finish it in one night. But if you get 15 seconds of it done, if you would have done that for every week after LST, you would have been done.
Oh yeah. I would like 10 times over.
Yeah.
You're right. I'll try. We'll see.
Try.
Anyway.
We're going to try harder.
Yeah. Anywho. What do we got? We got some questions because that's what we do now. We just answer questions.
I
mean, we appreciate it. We really appreciate it when people,
we do.
Because like it's it does seem like maybe something that we fall back on, but I think it's good. I think it lets us kind of like interact and let people know what we got going on, what we're thinking, I guess.
What's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Well, what did we have? Do we have stuff left over from the last one?
Yeah, we got a couple. Let me take a look at those. You want to?
Oh wait,
Yeah.
we gotta do the jingle.
Do the jingle while I'm pulling it up.
Do the jingle on page 2 and go.
Drop!
And drop.
Dropping it.
Drop in.
Drop. I dropped everything.
I knew the drops would come.
Drop it!
And done.
All right. This is Ivan. Ivan sent this.
Ivan from our club.
Ivan from our club. Yeah, who I'm going to see this weekend.
Oh yeah, we can't answer any of his questions till his truck's done.
Oh, that's right. Okay, moving on. Let's see.
Katie, you know, Ivan's wife. She like texts me. She's like, "Did you have to go so hard on my husband?"
Oh, she was listening.
She was listening. Yeah. I said yes.
Yeah. So, Steve, Steve messaged, like in the club chat, like. Steve,
I saw that. Yeah.
Steve mentioned a couple times. He's like, "Yeah, that's cool. Thanks for ripping on me a little bit." But we're not ripping. We're not ripping.
We're making ourselves feel better.
Yeah, I
we're
know.
We're projecting.
That's more to the point.
Yeah.
Because,
Let me, Brian, who hasn't had a truck finished, and whoever talk about someone else finishing their truck.
Right. Or me,
right?
who has a truck finished that drives, never takes it anywhere.
Yeah.
Listen to us.
Yeah. The projection with Frank and Brian.
The projection with Frank and Brian. This person, maybe you can answer this one.
Okay.
So this is Mick_up_trucks. So what's your favorite truck in each chapter of FFF, including Australia? Oh, I thought, never mind. The first time I read that, I thought he was asking specifically about Australian trucks.
Oh.
Australian FFF trucks. He's talking about FFF trucks in general, or vehicles in our club. That's actually a really good question.
That is a really good question.
Nice job, Mick. I find myself obsessing over different people's trucks at different times.
Yeah.
And you can really tell, if you really pay attention closely to my Instagram or videos, you can tell which ones I'm obsessed with. And I went through a phase with Georgie's truck, which is an S10 bodied on billets.
On billets, yeah.
Which I was obsessed about. I made that truck into a shirt. I made it into a sticker. I made a feature video on it. I just was really obsessed with that truck.
Yeah.
I did the same thing to Eric's truck, which he now sold, which kind of bummed me out. But anyway, that's a different discussion. But yeah, I obsessed about that for a little while. So I just we've said this before. We just get excited about hyping our friends up.
Yeah, I get excited when other people get excited.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Joey's Tundra, for example. When he got that done, or even his Forerunner. Joey's always been that guy. He's like, I'm gonna do this, and he does it.
Yeah,
he's like, I remember when he was like, when he was gonna do the Tundra, he's like, should I do the Tundra? Or he's like, what should I bag? He's like, I got this Chevy truck I want to do. He's like, but I was thinking about the Tundra. I'm all, do the Tundra. Mm-hmm. And then he took it to bio and he got it done, and it's crazy. And
truck is so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me. I like them all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too. I like them all, and especially when we went to the Unfinished Business show a few weeks ago, just to see everybody lined up. That's exciting. It's exciting. Yeah. It's exciting to see everybody lined up, everybody there, everybody hanging out, And even last weekend, there were a few members from the SoCal chapter who helped Rob lift his truck, Oh, yeah. And that was really cool to see. That got me really excited to see everybody, just working together. And that kind of I remember a few weeks ago, people were asking about that. Someone said that, or we mentioned it about how clubs, some people expect, well, okay, I got to work on my truck this weekend. Who's helping? When in this scenario, it was it wasn't Rob didn't expect anybody to help him. You know what I mean? Everybody just sort of came together and did it. And it was really cool. I think what I mean is when things come together more organically, There
you go. That's a good thing.
And it was cool.
Yeah. I think Eric's truck was probably one of my favorite for a while there. Tony's Mazda from Indiana. Rich's Mazda from Canada is going to be sick. Mark's Forerunner from Canada was sick.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We forgot about the bodied Forerunner with a Tundra motor in the club.
Yeah. Australia has a lot of stuff that's that I haven't seen in a while. Mal's Ford, his Ford that I actually picked up out here in Arizona, took to Max. Max worked on it, and then it got shipped over there. Was Mal's for a while. Now it's back in the club. So that one was always cool. I don't know.
I mean the Australian trucks for me, I'm the same way. Like I'm not too familiar with them, but the ones I have seen is like the 4-door Mazda. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
And then Mouse Truck.
You know what I'm excited for is Sean in the Astro van
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
out of Dallas.
Yeah, that's a good
that
one.
thing's got so much history with the club from NorCal and all those guys working on it.
Is that the same one that was with the No on FFF?
No,
that's
so
a
that
different
was
one?
Little Brian's green van.
Oh, okay.
This black one started out as this guy Andy's up in NorCal, and it didn't have any windows in it. They bought a donor van, cut the windows out, put it in this van.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, and then Andy ended up getting out of the club, and that van went to another guy in NorCal. This guy Jamie, who is Cheesy's cousin, brother-in-law. Then it got sold to Joey in SenCal, and then Joey sold it to Sean, and Sean got it running and driving.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
And that's that same van.
That's that same van, so it's
That's
got
really
a lot
cool.
of history.
Yeah,
I like that stuff when there is history with vehicles too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and seeing that one, like, because it was such a cool idea and concept. You know, and Astrovans just aren't really a huge thing now, and to see that one is.
What are your thoughts
Okay.
on like this? This happens a bit too, and I don't know. I don't have an opinion at this exact moment, so maybe I could develop one. But like when people say like, "Oh, I'm glad this one is staying in the club," or like when someone's gonna sell a vehicle, and I guess this kind of relates to Eric's truck too. Like Eric, because like now a person who's not in the club owns the truck. Like, you know, some people say that like, "Oh, I'm really glad that this vehicle stayed in the club." Do you think that's like a? But well, I mean, I just know what's your thoughts on that?
I think it depends on the vehicle.
That's true,
Right. So how long the history has been with that vehicle in the club, which members have worked on it. You know, there's some, like, it's funny because I'll see someone go, "I'm glad it's in the club." I'm like, no one even knows what truck that is. It's just like a basic full size lowered on wheels or
Right.
bagged on wheels. It's like, it's not anything. This sounds bad, but it's not anything special.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
You know, so the van to me, and this is just me, because everything has a special place with someone. The van has a special place with me, because I used to go up to NorCal a lot and hang out, and I saw the progress on that van. And then, like Eric's truck, it's cool. You know what I mean? Like, but it doesn't. It's like, it's cool because it was Eric's, and he did all that work on it and stuff like that. But when he was talking to me about selling it and stuff. You know, he's like, "I'm thinking about selling it." And I was like, "Dude, you could do that to any vehicle. You just painted it and put graphics on it.
Yeah.
Just go buy later on in life, go buy another one and do the same thing."
That's a good point. Yeah, I like that. I agree to that. Like,
You know.
like what would be like it would probably be like Joey's 4Runner or like
Joey's 4Runner, Joey's Tundra.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing something go from stock to where someone put a lot of time and effort into it.
and a lot of
they-
like memories. Like, I mean, how many runs have we cruised around in that 4Runner?
Yeah, and then to see that go to another club and they're doing it,
That's true.
and you're like, "No, that's kind of mine.
Yeah,
That's kind of ours." You know what I mean? Like, it would be like your 4Runner, same thing.
yeah,
You know, like that. That's ours. You know, you feel like a part of it type
right.
thing.
Did you feel that way? Sort of. Well, you have a really intimate connection to the black one that's now in No Regrets, the black Toyota with graphics, like, because that was
Oh
yours.
yeah,
at
that
one
was
moment.
my truck.
Yeah, that was yours.
Yeah, that's another one. You know, to see Danny get it, which is cool that Danny has it and all that stuff, and he's going to take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, same thing with that one, because that truck when I had it, it was just primer blue, and we put a bunch of work in it. I drove it from NorCal, broke down in Bakersfield on my way home. I ended up there was a whole process with that, you know, and then Dave got it, and Dave did the black paint, and then he had Cal do the graphics, and then it went to Bubba, and Bubba took it everywhere.
Yeah, he took real good care of it. And
Yeah, so there was like a special connection there, and to see that go there, it's like, ugh. And I'm sure the same thing happened when Dave got
I was just about to bring this up. Go ahead.
when Dave got the Toyota Blazer, and it
Yeah.
was a severed ties vehicle for so long.
Yeah,
And even the license plate said ST to FFF.
right.
You know, it wasn't severed for so long. Dave got it. Dave finished it. Was in the magazine. He did a ton of work to it, and then now it's some guy on the East Coast, I think.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think that's when something is built to a certain degree.
Well, it becomes like a fabric, part of the fabric of the club, part of the like the lore of the club. If you think,
Yeah,
because
because when you see that, you're like, oh, you think of the club.
exactly, yeah, and we talk a lot about like how like culture works and like and that fits really well into it.
It does, because when I see, especially when you see someone ruin something.
That's true. That happens a lot. We could chomp on that for a minute too. Is like when. And I've had I've had a couple trucks where I've gotten rid of them and then the next person gets it and it just like starts going downhill from there.
Yeah.
It's always a bummer to see.
But someone told me one time, these are just vehicles.
And I once heard someone say, and I like this saying, it's like, we're just preserving these things for the next person to enjoy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's also a thing that comes into it. It's all complicated. Like I don't think there's any one way to say it, because somebody maybe who owns a truck that was in another club is now thinking like, hey man, I'm taking really good care of this thing. Yeah. And that ties into the conversation about buying trucks and trucks that are built.
You have like collector cars like Ferraris and old cars, right, where they don't make parts for them anymore. They're very rare to begin with and stuff like that. So the car is what you're preserving. We're more preserving memories.
Yes. Yeah. Uh-huh.
What we look at that truck and we're like, remember the run we went to in that truck? Remember the show we went to in that truck? Remember this? It's like, so it's like music. It's all part of the journey. So you're just like, oh, I don't want to get rid of that because of the memories.
Yeah.
Because you could take a Toyota and make it identical to any other Toyota. It's basically just money. Mm-hmm. But you can't take like a 19 something older car and just make another one.
Yeah. No, I get that. No, that's really cool. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that's good. Good question from our Australian. Is he an Australian?
Don't even ask me.
I would think so, because it's Mick Up Trucks. Because is Mick an Australian? That seems Australian. Like
I don't know.
Some dollary do type stuff going on there.
Dollary do, didgeridoo,
whatever. Sorry, Australia. Anyway, let's see here.
I got a couple if you want to go.
Yeah, that actually pretty much. I mean, besides Ivan's, who we're not going to answer until he finishes his job.
Oh no, we can answer Ivan's. Go.
Oh no,
I was just kidding.
No, I wasn't. No,
oh God.
Just kidding. All right, fine, Ivan.
Oh, I thought we did answer it. Now we didn't. He's going to be like, man, he just
I know,
shut this
man.
thing
Then
off.
Katie's going to call you and be like, hey.
I know. Right.
This is actually a really good question. So Ivan, our buddy Ivan in our club, who is I roll an 89, which he doesn't roll. Well, never mind. Sorry. Damn, dude. Frank, come on.
Gosh, quit being a jerk.
I know. I'm sorry. All right. He says, is there a particular show or span of time during your mini trucking career, in quotation marks, that you would like to relive? I think we talk about that a lot on this podcast. We always talk about, which kind of that you kind of don't want to do. You don't want to like live in the past, like some people do. You want to like kind of like reminisce about the past, but live in the present and look forward to the future, kind of thing.
Yep.
So that to take a really cheap way out, like that's what I would say is like the best memories are the ones I haven't really made yet.
Yeah, because they can still be made.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like if you go like, oh, I remember when I had that truck. Remember when I did this? It's like that stuff's still happening. You could still do it.
Yeah, definitely.
So finish your truck, Ivan, and you can make those memories again.
Yeah, well, he's.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. Damn.
Anytime anyone gives us crap, we're gonna go back to it and keep doing it.
Yeah. And then now his brother George is sitting there just probably just laughing like, aha. Just kidding. All right, what else you got?
I got a couple deep ones that we'll save for next week.
Yeah, save those.
Yeah, because we're towards the end of this one.
Yeah.
It says this is Roulette, our buddy Roulette.
Oh, Roulette. Mm-hmm.
Another one. He said, "Do you think it's important to provide receipts of maintenance work done when selling a vehicle?"
Yeah, I saw him say that.
Yeah,
that's an interesting thing, because I've like, where do I begin? Like being around cars for so long and having so many cars and like dealing with people with cars. What happens a lot is you get a vehicle and someone's like, oh, so and so bagged it and so did this, and like there's really know. They're like, well, how do I know that? One way, like he's saying, is one way you could have receipts to it, which is pretty good indication on that's what happened. But what I did, I've said this before. What I did on the 4Runner, which I saw on a vehicle a long time ago, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again. When we were buying and selling cars, we came across this car. I forgot what it was exactly, but we're looking it over. It's like a mild custom vehicle, and I'm looking around, and on the dashboard there was a plaque that said Barris Customs, and like every Barris Custom built car that they did, they added like different like insignias and plaques, so like Barris built this car. So it was like this really cool thing that I found, and ever since then I was like, man, I really want to do that. So with the 4Runner, that's sort of what I did. Like if you look at the suspension on the front brackets, it says Sadistic Ironworks. On the fuel cell, it's got a logo that says Sadistic Ironworks. On the paint, it says AK Airbrushing, like on the like the airbrushing on the side, it says AK Airbrushing. And I really wanted to make that a point because, like I was saying before, whoever gets this thing down the line, they're going to say, well, Sadistic bagged it. And they're like, well, how do I know?
Yeah.
But then I just thought of something. Now with today, we were talking about this last week about, technology and sharing and oversharing stuff. That's sort of like a digital kind of footprint, a digital receipt right there, if you think about it.
Well, it just depends on what level you're talking about. So you have this happens a lot at Barrett Jackson, where they'll be like, it's a Boyd Coddington car, and Boyd's son, he'll be like, dude, no, like you can't say that's a Boyd built car.
Oh, this just happened.
This has happened quite a bit.
Really?
Because people, if you're buying a car at Barrett and someone says that's a Boyd Coddington built car, you're going to pay more money for it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like, that's going to happen in our genre too. Like, oh, that's a Bio Customs fully built, or Steve Wilkes fully built this, or something or other. You know what I mean? So I think having receipts and photos and documentation,
yes, mm-hmm.
whether it's digital or paper. But the other part of this, flip side of this is, say you have a Nissan and you put Toyota for suspension on it, which everyone does mostly. So someone buys your truck. This happened to me when I sold one of my Nissans. It had 5-lug on it. They went to buy the brakes, and they bought Nissan brakes for a 98 Frontier when they should have bought it for. So you have to, when you're also, whatever shop is doing this, if they're doing conversions and whatever, they need to document what parts they're using. So when you do go replace brake pads or alternators or whatever, and it is good for the person buying the vehicle too, to know what you did to it. So I think it is, whether it's a custom car, new, brand new stuff, it's all digitally documented through the dealership or however. But when it's old stuff, like if I ever sold my Nissan Titan, I could be like, here's all the receipts I've done this. When I bought the Maxima from Rob, it had a stack of receipts of stuff he did at the dealership.
That's
so
cool. Yeah, and that gives you kind of reassurance of buying it. But are we talking about two different things here? Like just talking about used vehicles in general, or it applies to both like custom vehicles and like just regular?
I think documentation is important with anything.
Right.
So come with receipts. That saying that people say, bring with the receipt.
Yeah. Bring it with the vehicle too.
Yeah, everything. He also has another question if you want to roll right into another one.
Let's move on.
Shirt question.
Oh, this is my department, I suppose.
Yeah. With all the options out there when designing shirts, which option do you still prefer? Good old screen printing, DTG, which is direct to garment, or DTF?
Yeah, I know.
Which is
so hold on. I was at the screen printing convention earlier this year, and DTF is direct to film. And I'll describe each process if we want to go into it. But so the guy, we go up to this booth and he's like showing us, and he's like, this is our DTF system, and blah blah blah. And I said, I'm a screen printer. I really don't mess with this thing. I just don't know if I'm ready to DTF.
Yeah.
And he looked at me like, huh. Either he had heard that joke 1,000 times, or either he heard the joke 1,000 times, he didn't know what I meant, or it was just appalling to him. So sorry to that one guy, but it was.
So what is the preference of each of those? Is there a reason why you do one over the other?
Yeah. So screen printing is the most durable and reliable out of those three. screen printing is the oldest way to do things, and that's sort of like what I really like about screen printing is the process hasn't changed since it was conceived. It's basically just taking a screen, and it is literally a screen, like not your front door screen, but a fabric material with tens of thousands of holes in it, right?
Yeah.
And then taking and coating it with a material, whether it be now what we use is called emulsion, which is a photosensitive paste, or back in the old days they used to just paint it in, so you end up with a positive stencil, and you take that positive stencil and you put it in a machine that holds it for you, and then you push some medium through it, whether it's like ink or whatever. So to me that like it's really cool because it's never changed. It's the same system. And since it's never changed, it's because it's a really durable, what's the right word I'm looking for? Like
process
relied on. It's like tried and true. Like it'll, it's always going to work. And then the type, it's very complicated and not very complicated, but there's a lot of parts to it. Cause like there's plastisol inks, which are oil based. There's water based inks, which are obviously water based for two different effects. But a plastisol ink, which it's not made out of plastic anymore because it's toxic, but same thing. The print should last longer than the t-shirt. Yeah. And like, if I see a shirt, like, and this is my thing, it shows, if I see someone wearing a shirt at a show that they've obviously had for a long time, the shirt's all faded, but the print is vibrant and bright, I'm like, yes, I did a good job, because technically it should last longer than the shirt. Which on the other side of the thing, when I see when my work that's cracked, I'm like, it bugs the crap out of me.
So here's a question. That shirt you have on right now. What is it? Low rides, good vibes.
Low rides, good vibes.
What is it again?
Low rides, good vibes.
Yeah. Because I can't see the whole thing.
No, I know, but we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. So that has a ton of ink on the front.
It does. Yes. Well, then
right?
I know. Yes, you're right.
So that, because I'm talking to Brandon right now at Fuel about doing some shirts, and the design I showed him as an example, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm just worried about all the ink on it."
Yes, and that's the thing. It does get hotter underneath, like when you put this much ink on a shirt. Yeah. So the answer to that, or the option for that, is you can either go water based, which is a softer. It's got a softer feel to it because it's a thinner ink. Plastisol is very thick, and that's why it's so durable. Is because you end up with a very thick, print that shouldn't crack because it's made out of plastic. Water base is thinner ink, so it goes on thinner, but it has a higher possibility of cracking and fading. And then there's another process called sublimation, and that's basically you're dyeing the shirt. You add, in the most simplest way to put it is you have bleach, different colors of bleach, and when you put it on, and the most basic thing is you just put this material on, and once it heats up, it takes the dye out of the shirt, and now it's the part of the shirt, and that's the softest and another long lasting way to do it. And then direct to garment printing is exactly what it sounds like. It's basically like a giant inkjet printer that you put the shirt in, and it's just like an inkjet. It just sits there and it prints the image right on top of the shirt. The problem with that is the technology is really slow. Like by the time, and they're getting faster, just like all technology, it gets better, it gets faster. But by the time you print a dozen direct to garment shirts, you could have printed 200 regular shirts. And if you have an automatic press, you could have printed 1,500 shirts, so it's just a really slow process. And then the direct to film is a process where you print the image out on a transparent film, and then you take it to a heat press, and then you heat press it on. So the direct to garment is, the disadvantages is not as fast, not as durable, but you could print whatever you want on it. Like you could print full color photos if you want to on it.
And you could print like one or two t-shirts.
And you can print one or two t-shirts, and that's the other thing.
Yeah.
So
if it was like, hey, I'm going to start printing my own grinder TV shirts, and I'm going to print batches of 24, and I have very limited space and very limited knowledge, is direct to garment the best way to go?
Yeah, yes and no, because even direct to garment sounds easier, but there's a lot of prep involved. So like with screen printing, screen printing has a lot of like pre-press prep. So that's like doing your art, printing them out on vellums, burning the screens, setting up the screens onto the press. But once
Yeah.
you get to that, it's really easy. It's not easy, but it's fast. You can just start printing a bunch of t-shirts. With direct to garment, you have to follow the same process for every single shirt, which is you take your shirt, you have to pre-treat it with a chemical, you have to heat press it, then put it in the machine, have it print the thing, pull it back out, heat press it again to cure it. So you can see how like what a long process that is, you know. But the advantage is like, again, if someone wanted one t-shirt, then, you know, they hit you up. And then that also applies to what I do too. So like I have a 6-color manual press, which means that I manually push the ink through each one of the screens for each color on the shirt. So like, and an automatic press is obviously automatic, but the difference is if someone, you know, and there's our friend Brandon who has Field Market. That's what he has, big giant automatic presses. And so when someone comes to him and says, "Hey man, I need a dozen 2-color shirts," he's all, "No," he's like, "You need to go somewhere else."
Yeah.
You know? And then that's where like I come in. I'm like, "Yeah, sure. No problem. We can definitely do that." And on the other side of it, if someone came to me and said, "Hey dude, I need 4,000 shirts by Friday," like, "Hey, go talk to Brandon," you know?
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of cool because we all kind of fit our own little space, you know, and we all have our, you know, pros and cons to what we do.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
And obviously, if someone comes and says, "I want 2 dozen shirts," they're going to be paying more per shirt.
Oh, for sure.
Just because, you know, it's going to take, it takes you the same amount of time to set up and all that stuff for 2 dozen shirts as it does for 4,000 t-shirts. The setup time, to get to the point of printing.
Yeah. It's a little
know what I
different
mean?
for automatic and manual presses. It's a little easier for manual presses. Plus, you can get away with a little bit of stuff with the auto presses. It's a little more difficult. I was actually just reading about this. Anyway, so someone asked the community, because like we'll go on Reddit and there's a screen printing community. So someone asked the community, they're like, "Hey, if I wanted to, like, you know, I went and had some shirts priced out, and you know, I just feel like maybe I could do this myself." And it's funny because you asked me that one time too. You're like, "Hey, should I just get like a cheap press and just start, you know, printing shirts?" Which is, yes, you can do anything you want, but the learning curve that is involved to create shirts, it's like, and this person who asked the question was like, "I have a landscaping company, so I'm going to be going through a lot of shirts, you know, would it be beneficial to me to start doing this?" And someone actually put it pretty good. They're like, "Well, so you already have a landscaping company. If you want to start printing your own shirts, that's like starting another company."
Yeah.
Because you have to like teach yourself how to use the equipment. You have to like, one, get all the equipment, because it's I mean, there are different ways to get in pretty cheap, but for the most part, to get to like, you know, to like, I guess where I'm at, there's more cost involved. And then you have to learn how to do it. It's not, and that's the other thing about screen printing versus like DTG or DTF, where the other two, you don't need a ton of knowledge to get into it. Like when someone shows you how to do a few, you pretty much got it, and you can like keep making that happen. But with screen printing, there's such a large learning curve, you know, like I've been screen printing for over 15 years now. And it was weird. The other day I was in the shop, like printing, and I'm like, man, I'm falling into a place where I'm like, I just do it, which is a weird thing to say. Cause like, I just like, I was working on something and I was like, someone said, "Oh, I need this." And I said, "Okay." So I just made the process happen, where early in my career, it was, okay, all right, we got to make this, and we got to make the screens, and we got to set it up and hope I don't mess any up, you know? So there is
I have
big
that
learning
same
curve.
I have that same confidence now with filming and photography. So I used to stress, and now I'm to a point where it's just like, show up, do the job, it's done.
Yeah, exactly. That's it's a really cool feeling, actually, because you feel like you feel like comfortable in it, you know?
Yeah, you're not worried about messing up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, where in the beginning, like, I mean, I would at least account for a half a dozen shirts that are messed up, you know?
I say that, but yesterday I filmed 2 vehicles for TCI chassis. So I go down to this shop called Apicella here, and the first one's in the showroom. So I mic him up, make sure it's recording. You know, we walk around the truck. He talks about it. And I was like, oh yeah. And then we get to the second truck, mic him up. He walks around, he talks about it. I go, "Hey, let me see the microphone." I get it. And I wasn't recording.
Oh no.
Because you have to push the button twice. There's one to check the levels, and then you press it again to record.
Oh man.
I didn't press it again. So usually I'll have him start, and then a few minutes in, I'll check just to make sure where everything's good. This time I didn't. I waited till the end and I looked and I go, we have to do that all over again.
Yeah. I know, and that happens too. I mean, and I say that like for my thing, I say that, but there are some times when just everything goes wrong. You know, just every little step of the process goes wrong.
We were filming this at the C10 show. They had a burnout contest, and audio is very important when you're filming motorsport type stuff. You can't just put music over it. Like, you have to hear the motor. You got to hear all that stuff. And so I usually have like redundancy happening. I usually have the mic on my camera. I have Chupus with his mic, and then I'll usually have my phone somewhere recording audio. But I didn't have my phone doing that. But Chupus I messed up setting his audio up, and I didn't push it to 1. I had it on 0, so he got 0 audio.
Oh no.
So, but luckily I had audio, so I can just overlay it on his shots. But like, yeah, messed up a couple times. But yeah,
but
redundancy.
That happens. Yeah, no, yeah. That's the other side of it, is there's always things that happen, and you know, it's funny because like it's funny because I'm on the other side of that. Like, you've been doing this for so long. Like, you're on that end. I'm still sort of in the beginning, you know, where we're doing all this
the video stuff,
like video stuff. And it's so funny to me how, like you said, one setting, everything's no good, you know.
Yep.
Having one thing off, and you're like, I mean, most of the time, I think, at least for my thing, because my thing is not really that important. You know,
yeah.
So like I kind of get away with a lot of stuff, but I mean, with you,
it's definitely different when someone's not. If someone says, "Hey, here's a lot of money to film my event," you're like, yeah.
That must have been
verse like when we go to a show and we didn't get paid and we like messed up. We're like, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no,
we just won't use that shot.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, no, I could only imagine, and I mean that's your life. That's your life right there.
Yeah, like when we went to Graham's and neither of us filmed the
limbo.
The limbo.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, that sucks, but
well,
you know.
Graham's all, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't worry, Graham. We got the axe throwing.
Yeah. I didn't get the axe throwing. We're quite the team here.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah, that was a great question. And I love that's one, I mean, and I'm sure you feel the way about like photography and video and everything, is like, when you love doing what you do. Like, I love screen printing. It's cool to me. Mm-hmm. It's just, and it's weird. It's not like fun, because it's not like riding a jet ski is fun. Printing t-shirts isn't necessarily fun, but it is definitely rewarding, you know, being like functional to do it, or capable of doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you're providing a service, and like, I think with the same with video, like filming and going to events is a lot of fun. The actual like standing on the blacktop, filming cars race and stuff, like that's cool. It's cool to be there and see that and stuff. But what my enjoyment is like when one of the guys came up to me and he was like, "Hey man, everything we saw, like you did a really good job."
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool to me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, same probably with you when you see people wearing your shirts.
That's
you obviously did a good job because they decided to wear that t-shirt that day.
Yeah. And when people like, you know, the softball shirts, like everybody's like, "Oh, we love the shirts. They're so nice. They're such good quality." And I'm like, yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Doing a good job is fun.
It is. Do a good job.
Do a good job. There are a couple of questions. One from 6 days ago on the old Instagram here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we want to get into it now or get into it next week.
You got a quick one? Because we've got about maybe 10 minutes or so.
Yeah. This one is not quick. I will get to that.
There's one really quick one. Like, this is an interesting, remember last week, the person who asked, Arrow Juice is Adrian_Diaz89. He also asked gas or diesel. I'm like, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Like,
he asked just gas or diesel.
Yeah, like gas or diesel. Like, which do you prefer? I'm like, I don't know.
Electric.
Electric. I like that.
Stew on that one.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
bye. No, just kidding.
Go fight in the comments.
Yeah.
Speaking of, there was an electric swapped Chevy Apache.
Oh, really?
At the show, and it did the autocross and all that stuff. It was cool to see.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, that's a topic for another day, though.
Yeah, we should. It's an interesting topic to climb into, but it is a thing. You know, it's a thing that's happening.
It's just like anything else, man. It's like you can't talk about it without like making someone mad or
yeah. That's why we just stick to truck stuff. But even that pisses some people off.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet you. I wonder if my screen printing thing. I wonder if someone's listening and be like, "Oh, you're so full of it." Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Yeah. They're like, screen printing is stupid.
Yeah.
But well, we don't have a new giveaway going on.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But after this, we're going to decide on a date when you come out, because then we can. I got to hit up Seth at Switch, and then we can talk to. I think we want to announce a giveaway when we record his podcast.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
I think our next giveaway will be audio related too.
Oh, okay.
And then the giveaway after that, we'll do something big with Switch.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, just pay attention, and we're kind of in a little bit of a lull right now, but
yeah.
As far as like stuff on the website, but
yeah. Kind of like we're kind of in an interesting part right now, and I don't remember feeling like
we are not doing anything that we said we were going to do.
Yeah, I know, but that's okay.
No, it's not.
Okay.
We have to do what we have to do better.
We have to do better. We're trying. But I was thinking about this, like, we're kind of in a lull on a few different things. And like, I don't know. I don't remember feeling this way last summer on the podcast.
Well, I'm in a lull because I don't print my own shirts.
Right.
You have no excuse.
I don't have an excuse. So I meant more of a lull. Like we're kind of like in this, we're still uploading episodes every week. We're still doing the podcast.
I think we were like, it was still new to us last year.
Oh, and that's why.
We were just like, we still had topics.
That's true.
We were very topic based, and then we ran out of topics, and now we're like,
okay, ask us a question.
So how's softball going?
Yeah, no, it's all good though. We're still doing stuff.
Well, it's hard to also have like something new every single week.
It
or
is
something like we always talk about coming out with new shirts, and once we come out with new shirts, that'll be a roll. You know what I mean? Because I already have like my next 2 planned. I just need to get Brandon in to do those, and yeah. And once that happens, then it'll go. So
yeah, I think I was gonna bring. I don't know. Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I forgot what it was.
That's it. Episode's over.
Bye. See you next week.
Bye.
Later.